Do something different. I want you to have hope. And so here's some of the tools. We talked about the triggers. We've talked about the toxins. You know what's bad, so let's try and look at the solution. Do not skip breakfast. If you skip breakfast, it starts you off behind the 8 ball. You've got to eat breakfast. It takes about 2 weeks to get used to eating breakfast. I'm not talking about, please God, no, bacon and eggs, okay? I'm talking about Greek yogurt, string cheese, fruit, grapefruit, a handful of nuts, granola with almond milk, whatever works for you. But eat something. Your body, the reason why it's called breakfast is you're waking up and breaking the fast of having slept all night. Your body has been in dormant mode. If you want to get your brain working, give it fuel and give it good fuel. Do not give it a croissant. Do not give it a bagel. Have you seen the size of a bagel? You could feed a family of 4 with the bagels they give now, with cream cheese and all the crap on it. Eat within an hour, and now I'm seeing a half hour, at no later than a half hour to an hour after you get up. Because again, you're telling your body, I'm up, I'm ready to move, I've got fuel in the tank, and then you'll be doing better. The research shows that people who eat breakfast eat fewer calories throughout the day. So if you do want to be subsidizing and running your day in the best way possible, eat breakfast. Do not drink your meals. I'm not a fan of the energy drinks. I'm well not a fan of soda and juices. It's all empty calories. Don't drink your meals because, and we've seen a 135% increase in liquid meals, sweetened beverages from 1977 to 2001. And think about it now. We've got kids who are drinking what? Red Bulls and now energy drinks. My pharmacy kids that I worked with would come in and I'd say, you know, you seem kind of anxious. And they're like, yeah, I need an anti-anxiety agent. And I said, well, how much soda are you drinking? Oh, I'm drinking 2 liters of Mountain Dew. And I'm saying, hello, you wouldn't be anxious because you're jacked up on caffeine and the sugar. And they'll say, but I'm not willing to give it up. Give me meds. And that breaks my heart. And then retrain your taste buds. I'm going to be honest, if you're going to do something different, it does take retraining your taste buds. Now, I'm going to pick on you because you told me that you hadn't had sugar in 2 weeks. What are you noticing about your taste buds being different? You can taste things. What tastes sweet now that did not, or sweeter?
What tastes sweet now? I'm not eating sweet. My food just tastes better, and I think I can see it in my tongue.
How about fruit? Is fruit sweeter or?
I can't say that it's sweeter, but apple tastes good. And I have to say, too,
yes.
I cut down on wine.
Yes.
My friend knows.
Good for you. Well, it kind of defeats the purpose to avoid sugars everywhere else and then have a big superdose.
There you go.
And then I want you to look at condiments. Please be mindful that the only condiments that you can have that don't involve sugar or high fructose corn syrup are vinegars, mustard, but you can't have honey mustard, and salsas, and be careful about the salsas because they've indoctrinated those with junk. Those are the only 3 condiments that you can get that do not have sugar in them. So if you're going to stay away from sugar, yes, you would want to cut back on your alcohol, especially the wine, and even alcohol-free wine, because it's still just a big shot of blood-spiking sugar. Yes. So stay away from your condiments also, because that will continue to decrease the taste. Now, I am going to encourage you to increase your water intake. And I'm talking about real water, not caffeinated water, and not water with sweetener. The reason why I don't want you drinking the water that has, like, the raspberry, peach, whatever, that's diet, you train your taste buds to expect sweet when you don't need sweet. And on top of it, our bodies are so smart that they start to say, well, wait a minute, I got sweet on my tongue, but I'm not getting sweet in my food. And it will force you, the research is now saying, even diet drinks force you to eat more foods that are calorie-laden and not good for you. I want you to weigh. Now, my favorite story about Healthy Horizons, I was one of the first people to go to Healthy Horizons when they opened, because that's about the same time I started living differently. And someone said, why do you go to Healthy Horizons? I said, because I like the accountability and I like the support. It's been a great, Healthy Horizons is a great program. And they said, oh, I don't want to go. And I said, why don't you want to go? And they're going to weigh me. And they're going to tell me I'm overweight. And I said, well, what do you think? Well, yeah, I know I'm overweight, but I don't want them to tell me. Don't confuse logic with this process. But I want you to weigh not daily. I'd encourage you to weigh no more than once a week or once a month. Make it about the same day of the month. Make it about the same time, so you're not having difficulties with that. Try to weigh on the same scale. And then if you are going to do a detox, cut down on the fructose. And if you want, I can give you the list. There's a whole list of names that it all goes under. Don't do sugary drinks. Do eat some carbs. And do not fear carbs. Beans are good. Lentils are good. They will not hurt you. Sweet potatoes are probably the best thing that you could eat on the planet, and that is a carb. Take care of yourself, and do take the no fructose challenge. I'm going to tell you that if you do detox off sugar, day 3 you will want to put sugar on Cindy's arm and chew it off. But if you make it past day 3 and 4, by the time you're on day 5, it will be better. I promise you. Do you remember how long did it take you? Okay. So what I can tell you is my husband just went through this. He went cold turkey. No soda, no sugar, no fried foods, no nothing. I was like, I don't know if he's going to live. And he looked like, and he had flu symptoms. I mean, he was physically ill from not having not just sugar, but sweetener, because he was drinking 64 ounces of Diet Coke a day. No, that's not healthy. Okay, salt detox. Research shows that it takes longer to cut down on the salt. So 8 to 12 weeks, it's going to take you to prefer less salt. So for a while, you're just going to have to say, oh, wow, this tastes like lawn clippings. But it will get better. It will get better. I promise you. And the thing that people don't do, they go, oh, I'm going to take away salt, but they don't think about adding spice. Herbs and spices are great, great, great things to bump up the flavor in your food. Eat breakfast whether you're hungry or not. It does take you about 2 weeks to get used to eating breakfast, and I want you to restrict breakfast foods to breakfast. If you say, well, I really like pancakes, so I'll have them at breakfast. I'm not anti-pancake. Have your pancakes. Don't have your pancakes at lunch or dinner when you really need the fiber and the nutrients in your fruits and vegetables. So, you know, our students have a breakfast at midnight thing. Let the students do whatever they need to do. They're 18, they'll metabolize it. We are not. So just try to avoid fast food or do less of it. Now, how do you reduce salt? Recognize hidden salts. Look at, now, here is a can of pink salmon. It has, how many? 220 milligrams of sodium, absolutely no sugar, and 13 grams of protein. So if you want it, and a serving size on this is 1/4 of a cup drained. So if you're doing 1/4 of a cup of that, you know that you're reducing your sodium, you know what's in it, you know it's got protein. It might be something that you could have for breakfast. It would be healthy for you. So read your labels. Look for low sodium versions. That Healthy Choice thing we were passing around, that had lower sodium. Eat more potassium, and guess what? There's potassium in all sorts of things besides a banana. Did you know that 2 kiwis will give you as much or more potassium than a banana? Now, if you don't like kiwis, we've got another issue. But there are all sorts of potassium-rich foods. And then order smart. And ask your servers to bring you foods that are not going to kill you. Now, Dr. Kessler talks about just right eating. So under just right eating, he recommends about 300 calories for breakfast, 400 to 500 calories for lunch, and 500 to 700 calories for dinner. That would be to 1,200 to 1,500 calories a day without snacks. And the premise of this is if you eat whole foods, not processed foods, foods that can carry and sustain you, like oatmeal with nuts on it and some milk, skim milk, great breakfast, great breakfast. Bring in at 300 calories. That will carry you about 4 hours if you eat good, nutritious food. A snack, which will be about 200 calories, will carry you about 2 hours. Now, another way to look at this is the rule of 10. Dr. Bernard, who wrote the Breaking the Food Seduction, and you may have seen him on WFYI. He does a lecture on PBS. He says, if you need to look at calories, some people don't count calories, some do, but if you do, take the rule of 10. So I'm 5'8". I would like to weigh 155 pounds. I'm about 15 pounds away from that. So if I multiply that times 10, that's 1,550 calories. And he says, do not go below that threshold. You need to stay at that minimum level to lose weight. What happens is if you go under that 1,550 calorie point, your body goes into starvation mode, and then you're not going to lose weight. So just use that as your baseline if you're a calorie counter. There is a magazine called Clean Eating. I don't have my copies with me, but if you want to check out a really good magazine, what I like is that they talk about eat 5 to 6 times a day, drink water, get label savvy. These are the tenets and the precepts for being a clean eater. And they have features in there of eating clean for under $10 a meal, feeding a family of 4 on a limited budget, and it's all healthy. So I just wanted to highlight that if you're looking for recommendations. If you want to look at portion size, a fun site to look at is the small plate movement. They realized, this is the study where they took a movie popcorn bucket and they gave it to just a regular size one to the patrons, and they ate it. Then they gave them an oversized one, and they had rigged it so that it would get more popcorn in it, and it was even stale popcorn. The bigger the container, the more people ate. Pure and simple. Our plates used to be 7-inch plates, and now they're up to 10, 11, and 12-inch plates. And if you put it on your plate, you will eat it. These are the books I've talked about. Again, you'll get that on the, and this is the book, The Mindless Eating, about portion size. And I'll give that to you on the references. Some other good resources. The Rudd Center on Food Policy and Obesity. These are the people who say that they encourage us to treat addictive foods the same way that we treated cigarettes. Where we started taxing cigarettes, they want us to tax highly palatable foods. Very controversial. Don't tell me what I can eat, but that's what they want to say. Mindlesseating.org, we talked about that. And then the Obesity and Food Addiction Summit. That's where you can find the article about the little rats and the cocaine. And then if you want self-help options, I would encourage you to think about Overeaters Anonymous, Food Addicts in Recovery, FFA, Food Addicts Anonymous, any number of groups, if that is something that strikes you. It's a smaller segment of the population, but it may be a resource for one of your friends.